Hello. Welcome to a science talk. I know you're all super excited to talk about science right now in the field of sports. I'm sure you're thinking back to the classes you may have had, good or bad. But at the MIT Sports Lab, we actually use science to help drive innovation with our sports partnerships. For the next 45 minutes, what we're going to do is talk a little bit about some of the work we do, as well as the examples, some real concrete examples that are questions our partners have come to us to have answered. Second, have a discussion with Johannes, one of our terrific long-term FIFA partners. And then I'll pass it over to Professor Link to talk about the TUM DFL Football Analytics Hackathon. My name's Christina Chase. I am a lecturer in the School of Mechanical Engineering at MIT, as well as the co-founder and managing director of the MIT Sports Lab. We use all of the techniques from across the Institute to help drive new insights, ways our partners can rethink the game, as well as hopefully allow for safer, more interesting adoption of technology when thinking about that in the field of sport. So we work across the world with pro sports clubs, leagues, governing bodies, federations, brands, as well as esports and betting platforms, which, as you can guess, in the United States is coming up quickly for us. Some of the most common themes we hear: talent ID and development. Can I figure out who that next Messi is going to be for our team? And then ideally have the perfect development and staged platform for that talent to be realized. In-game strategy, can I reverse engineer my opponent's playbook? Athlete health and performance. Today's most expensive assets are also our oldest athletes many times. And so ensuring that we can start to see those risk factors earlier and have some level of mitigation in place is something that we're always looking at across disciplines. And as I'm sure you all have been dealing with, there are new data streams and new technologies coming online all of the time. And so the question is, we're strapped pretty thin as a league, as a team. Can we get some extra horsepower to do that validation and evaluation of whether it's a new data stream or technology to see if it's worth the adoption and trade-offs we might have to make as a club? Next generation fan engagement, how can I identify them and engage with that new generation of fan that might be different from today's fan, as well as data-driven decision-making across the organization, whether it's the business or on the team side. What could this look like? This is an example of something we did with Adidas for a class project. This was 2.5 months, an interdisciplinary team, and I'll give you a little taste of what they did.
On really hot summer days, artificial turf temperatures can get up to 60 degrees Celsius, which is about 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
The main problem was, can we redesign the midsole to have some kind of passive cooling mechanism that would mitigate this problem?
What did you learn about making heat transfer models?
I've never done it before, so that was a learning experience. We started brainstorming on potential solutions for this problem. So we had about 5 ideas of what kind of mechanism we would use. And then for all those, we did heat transfer calculations. And then that's how we decided that the best method would be having some kind of phase-changing material that would absorb that heat and that energy that would otherwise go into the foot, and then also having more insulation into the shoe. I think actually making the testing setup was very spontaneous. We just got into the shop and we started cutting all the parts.
So the test setup is meant to repeatedly recreate an environment that is roughly the same as the hot turf that Adidas was investigating. The experiment has a heat pad which maintains a steady temperature of about 59 degrees Celsius to replicate the turf.
We used microcontrollers and relays to control the temperature of the heat pad and of the heat lamp. The biggest building component of it was actually building kind of a structure to hold a pneumatic
So you come in and you turn on the power for the microcontrollers that control the heat pad and the air. And then you have to wait for it to get to the temperature that we want, which is 59 degrees for the heat pad and 35 degrees for the air temperature. And then you put in your prototype and you align it with the foot, and then you screw the foot to the pneumatic piston, and then you turn on the air compressor, and that compresses the sample with 50 psi, and then you just wait. We wait it until it reaches 45 degrees for all the samples, and then we turn it off, and then we save the data.
We compared what is currently used in an Adidas football cleat with our prototypes, and we found that our prototypes do keep the foot cooler. It takes a lot longer to reach that target temperature of 33 degrees Celsius. So that was very promising.
When we compared our test results to our transient heat model, we were surprised that the curves actually matched almost identically.
We're handing off to Adidas a simulation tool that they can use to see how a prototype may perform in our test setup, and we also have provided some inspiration moving forward with the face change materials and some ideas with how to integrate it into the shoe. Hopefully they will take the face change material idea and run with it.
That was their sponsor at Adidas. We gave them 2.5 months, and in that time, they built a test rig that was similar to an Instron, which is about $50,000. They did the material science, the geometry testing, they did the simulation work, and from concept and design. And Adidas said, we're really trying to rethink how we could design a football boot to be more comfortable in those hot summer days. That said, that was able to take something off of the plate of the Adidas designers and engineering and futures team to actually give them an understanding as to what might be the best pathways forward. But then we've had some that are perhaps around rethinking what today's basketball game looks like. This was one of our pro basketball teams who came to us and said, you know, the 5-man role is no longer how the game is played. Can you rethink for us what the new player archetypes are for today's NBA? What are their on and off ball characteristics? And then which teams have the most efficient offensive lineups, starting lineups? Here's something we did with FIFA. Is it possible to quantify the difficulty of offside scenarios? I'm sure this is something none of you guys have argued about. Are there consistent factors that make it easy or hard? And we're only using player tracking data. And then the question then is, can statistical models identify the importance of those factors? We've worked with FIFA on a variety of things. Most recently, the work for automated offsides, or auto event detection from player tracking data. That's something that they'd come to us and said originally, we've asked a number of people to do this for us. We keep being told it's impossible. Is it possible? Which then took us into all of the data evaluation and validation, because what we were told we were going to be working with actually was not something we could actually build a model off of. So throughout that, we've been doing continual work for all of the new data streams that are coming in-house, and as well as the live offside detections. Very important as we were also going into the World Cup. We needed to also know that we could capture data in a live environment, touch data, et cetera, and then help with the semi-automated offsides. That said, who better to hear from than our FIFA partner, Johannes? Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Christina.
Brilliant. So you have been a fantastic, you and your team have been a fantastic group to work with over the last, 5 years or so. I remember meeting you at the FC Barcelona sports conference, and one of the things that you presented on was a process for how you were thinking about evaluating which technologies to adopt as all of these new things were coming into play, some more mature than others. I was really impressed by how thorough you guys were thinking about that. I'm curious, how do you think about technology adoption as you've gone through this process?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to the organizer of this event. Fantastic event, I would say, especially for networking. I think probably one of the best ones I could recommend or can recommend. Yeah, it's a long time ago. We saw each other in Barcelona. So you can, when I go back in my career history, there was one moment, and probably all of you, because we are all football fans, remember that. It was Frank Lampard scored against Germany, but the goal was not given in South Africa, World Cup 2010. We flew back, all the FIFA staff, to Zurich. Next day in the office, my boss came to me and said, and you are now responsible for technology. And I had no clue. So, okay, now technology in football, how should we do that? So the very first step was then to find some other crazy people who want to do that with me, and some of these people are here. But we also then contacted universities, and we asked, okay, how can we define a process that in the future, for all kind of needs, for all kind of problems, we can use for. And so at the end of the day, we implemented at FIFA a design thinking process, really tailor-made for FIFA, where now for all the different problems, and we did the same with VAR, when we developed video assistant referee, was exactly the same. We start always with the problem. Do we really understand the problem? We ask everyone. So, of course, for VAR, for example, the referees, we had a fan focus group, we had former players, current players, we all asked for their benefit. How could it work? We went to many other leagues. Looking here, some colleagues from the MLS. We went, of course, to the NBA, to the MLB, to all the other sports to better understand how they do it and how does it work for FIFA and for football. What is also quite important for us, there are two elements for us. It's quite hard, I know, when you're watching a match, it's probably easy to say, yeah, but this is offside, or why do they not use this technology or that technology? But for us, it's quite important that on one side, we are protecting the game, because it should stay as it is to a certain degree. On the other side, of course, we also want to bring new ideas into the game to improve the football experience for the players on the field, and as well as for the fans sitting in the stadium or at home. So for us, it's always important to identify this problem, and then we go to the scientific world and asking the question, what is possible? Where are the limitations? And we're going to the industry and asking the same question. And then we are starting a process of testing, trialing, and hopefully at the end we're coming to a conclusion that it's good for football and that we can implement that, which is then decided by the lawmakers if it's good enough or not.
You know, it's interesting. I think one of the earliest things we really resonated with working with you guys was it's a problem-first conversation, and that's exactly how we have focused our research. And so being that you weren't asking just, you know, should we do this because everyone else has adopted it. It was really, for example, I remember with the event detection, the statistic of only 20% of all tournaments were able to actually afford having the event individuals in every match or at every match. And yet this was to hopefully democratize the sharing of that data worldwide. As you think about innovation, what does that mean to FIFA?
It's a very good point, because what we see in football is that many organizations, first of all, it's good that more and more football clubs and leagues are focusing on innovation. But what we see is that many times it's only a PR exercise. So for us, it's exactly the other way around. We hope that there are no headlines, because we have so many headlines about FIFA. So we would like to really focus on the innovation first. Can we really solve a problem? So the problem is the most important one for us. And then for us, it doesn't matter which technology it is. So I've heard today a lot about AI. Yes, if AI is a vehicle, can help us to solve a problem, why not? If blockchain technology is a vehicle to solve the problem, why not? But we are not saying we have to use now AI because everyone is using AI, or we have to use blockchain. So for us, innovation is really, it's always about the problem. Can we solve a problem? And for FIFA, it's not a one showcase. We are not interested in doing one showcase and saying, wow, now great, fantastic. For us, it's even important that more leagues, competitions, clubs are using this innovation, because then only, that's my KPI, then only I'm successful, my team is successful, when we see, okay, now more and more leagues, organizations are using this development, because we all believe together this is good for the game.
I love it. Well, just to wrap up this wonderful conversation, I'm curious, as you think about this topic, projecting into the future, what does that look like to you, thinking of the innovation, science, etc.? What's coming next?
Yeah, what's coming next? That's always the question that we are asking ourselves. And what are the problems? What are the problems we can identify and we can solve for the next? Is it the men's, women's World Cup, for the next big tournament? I think there's all about offside. You already mentioned that. I think offside is a big one for us, and we are already testing automated offside. So we have done the first test with live indication on the referee watch at the Club World Cup in Saudi Arabia. End of last year, we are continue this development. And of course, all the factual decisions for officiating are quite interesting for us to look into that. At the same time, we also see when it comes to match analysis, there will be a change, because with Gen AI, there are a lot of more possibilities for coaches, for teams to get data, to get new insights, but also for the fans. We believe that this will also change the way how fans will interact with insights, with game data. I think these are the two most important ones for us at the moment, to look into that. And then, again, we have to go through all the testing, and if at the end we believe it's good enough for football, we bring that up, and then people, the decision makers, have to decide it's good for football or not, and then hopefully we can implement that at FIFA tournaments as well as in the world of football.
I love it. Sounds like an exciting future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This was great.
You're the best.
You're the best. It's my great pleasure now to have my colleague, Professor Daniel Link, share more about the TUM Football Analytics Hackathon. Thanks, Daniel.
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much, Christina, for the kind words. Yeah, I want to show some results of a football analytics hackathon. We performed together. That's the Technical University of Munich and the German Professional Soccer League, DFL. We did this together in January this year, and in order to give you some impressions how this looked like, I want to start with a short promotion video on this.
Data analytics and artificial intelligence have become increasingly important in soccer. In German Bundesliga, modern tracking systems seamlessly record all movements of players and the ball. In January of this year, the Technical University Munich carried out their first football analytics hackathon. 50 students and doctoral candidates from computer science, engineering and sports science were called upon to work together on match analysis issues for 1 week. The project is initiated and led by Professor Dr. Daniel Link, who, as a sports data scientist, connects the world of data science with that of sports.
Durch die Daten der DFL
Using the Bundesliga data, students can apply their learned methods on football issues. This does not only strengthen their analytical competence, but also learn to work together in heterogeneous groups.
Sie lernen auch, in fachlich heterogenen Gruppen miteinander zu arbeiten.
The hackathon at TUM was carried out in close collaboration with the German Football League, which has been collecting game data for German professional clubs since 2011.
Wir als DFL sind ja zuständig für die...
We as DFL are responsible for the Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2, and our clubs have practical questions in match analysis. This week here at the Technical University of Munich, we discuss theoretical frameworks and smart algorithms, and we try to constantly integrate these results into our Bundesliga everyday life to drive the overall quality.
Bundesliga-Alltag integrieren.
Whether counter-pressing, ball control, or runs behind the defensive lines, the tasks include many exciting questions from the world of soccer. As part of the hackathon, they have now been translated into the language of mathematics and processed using artificial intelligence approaches. The hackathon at TUM was supported by numerous sponsors, so that the winning teams were able to win substantial prize money.
Also wir sind auch sehr gerne Teil dieses.
We are happy to be a part of this event and are looking forward to nominate the winner of the 3 finalists during SportsInnovation in Düsseldorf later this year. The SportsInnovation is the largest live sports convention globally initiated by the DFL, where you get a glimpse on the future of football.
Sehr auf die 3 prämierten Teams, die wir dann auch in der Merkur Arena in Düsseldorf sehen werden.
In the long term, the methods being developed here can help clubs to better manage physical load players, develop the right strategy and make better player transfers. But despite all this mathematics and ever-improving analysis methods, soccer will always remain one thing: unpredictable and exciting.
Yeah, well, I'm very sure you noticed that some people in the video are also here around, so don't hesitate to talk to them. Genau, but also one purpose of the session is to have an award ceremony. But before I come to this, I want to give an idea how the challenges of our hackathon looked like and how they were solved. And our 3 winning teams worked on 3 different challenges: turnover behavior, winning the second ball, and ball reception quality. And now I want to dive a little bit deeper into the world of soccer tactics here. So the first challenge was on off-ball behavior in so-called turnover situations. So a turnover refers to the moment in which the ball possession changes from one team to the other. And in the short video sequence here, we can see that the red player wins the ball for his team by intercepting a pass. And after gaining the ball, the team has somehow to establish ball control. An important aspect of this is to find a teammate in a low-pressure area which can receive the pass directly after the turnover. And therefore, off-ball players have somehow to find free spaces. And the goal of this challenge here for the students was to develop a model that allows to quantify the quality of this off-ball behavior after the turnovers. And this video here shows the results of the implemented model. The number here and these black cycles quantify the extent to which a player is available for receiving a pass. And this indicator was calculated based on the pressure on the player, pitch control, and the distance to the passer. And in this example, for example, the players were available also for the first as for the second pass after the turnover. And this is what we can call a quite successful turnover. In the second example here, we see a non-successful turnover. The white player here intercepted the ball, but there was not one single teammate available for a pass, and that's the reason why the team lost the ball again. And this developed metric can be used to characterize the quality of a turnover and to identify players which are maybe not available in many situations. So, and this could provide information for training interventions. So, the second challenge was about how to win the so-called second ball. And the second ball occurs in situations usually after long, high passes. We can see here a typical example for a launch, in this case from a goal kick. And launches are not played to one specific teammate, but into an area behind the defending lines. And the intention is not so much to get the ball under control with the first contact, but rather to win the second ball after the aerial, which was the case in this example here. So the aim of the challenge here was to develop a model that allows to identify the factors which are associated winning this second ball. And here we have some results of the group. First, it is easy to accept that winning the second ball must be somehow associated with the positioning of players around the area of the aerial. And here, the right map shows the position or the probability that the second ball contact is at this location. And this, the ball in the middle represents the position of the first ball contact, also of the aerial. And the launch, the pass, always comes from the direction of this arrow here. So this means the map is normalized according to these parameters. Projected on the pitch, it somehow looks like this. And we can see here a tendency that more second ball contacts are one in the straight direction of the first pass or in the opposite direction of the pass and less sidewards of the aerial. So, and this is something we can maybe also use for interventions. So the third challenge was on ball reception quality. And ball receptions are one of the most frequent actions in soccer, around 700 per match. And they can have, of course, different tactical intentions, including directly passing to a teammate, playing a fast self-pass, or running behind the ball, or just holding on the ball when standing with the back to the goal. And, well, the challenge here was to develop a model which quantifies the quality of this ball reception based on the tactical intention. And the challenge was a little bit different from the previous ones, since the participants should use skeleton data and not only the center of the mass. And the skeleton data here was provided by TrackUp and included 24 limb positions, like shown in this picture. This graphic here shows the animation of a quite good ball reception, and the second touch was then played to a teammate. Let me explain this a little bit, what we see. The diagram here on the right side shows a performance indicator used to quantify the quality of the reception. The blue line is the distance between the ball and the closest body part of the receiver, and the red line, the distance between the ball and the closest body part of the defender. And the green line here is the difference of these two values. So we can say if this value is positive, in the blue area here, the receiver is closer to the ball than the defender. And yeah, our approach now for quantifying the quality is based on the assumption that it must be the intention of the receiver to keep the defender away from the ball. And this would result to a green line, which is always in the blue area here. Maybe this is not true for all situations, but we believe for the most ones. This is, for example, a situation where the first contact of the blue player was not so good, and therefore the red player here had a chance to intervene. And the green line also is here below 0. Yeah, we could imagine that the evaluation of many hundreds of these receptions of a player might give insights into this very specific skill of ball reception. And this might be useful for transfer decisions, of course, but also for training. So, the intention of this project, of course, was not to create market-ready products. Huh? It's more to test approaches and to evaluate whether they make sense from the perspective of practice. And this is, in my eyes, precisely the role of science here. So if you're interested more to learn about the challenges, please, you can ask the remaining teams. The posters are located at this wall, and they will be very happy to answer more questions after the session. So now, let's come to the big moment, the winner ceremony. First, I want to say thank you to the 3 sponsors of this hackathon. This was Sportradar, DFL, and Adesso. And we are very happy that they supported us. And of course, their representatives are also here. So please, Luca, Dominik, Hendrik, come to the stage.
Du hast die Schecks dabei?
Ja, das ist. Thank you so much. Maybe a short applause. And in this morning, there was a jury of 6 people evaluating the quality of the projects in terms of innovation, scientific quality, application potential, and the presentation skills. And yeah, well, the jury make a decision very, very fast. Rank number 3. Congratulations, was the group winning the second ball. Place 2 was the group with the ball reception quality, and the winner this time was the group turnover behavior. Please come to the stage. Benedikt, Marian, Ons, Ahmed, Bartu, and Alperen. So, we need somebody for a picture, I think.
That's it?
Oh, just a picture.
Oh, picture.
Okay. So, once again, an applause for the winning team. I think I also have to say thank you for the audience for joining this session. If you have more questions on the projects, now I've only a very limited time here to explain what I did. You're really welcome to come to the posters, talk with my students, and learn more about it. So I think it's my role now to close this session. Thank you so much, and enjoy your lunch. Bye.